In the beginning, there was nothing. No space, no time, no matter, and no energy. It is almost impossible for our minds to conceive of such a state of total non-existence. And then, in an event that defies human comprehension, everything began. This is what we call the Big Bang, the moment when the universe was born approximately 13.8 billion years ago. From a singularity, a point of infinite density and temperature, the universe exploded outward. This explosion wasn't like a bomb going off in space. Instead, space itself expanded, carrying with it the energy and particles that would eventually become the stars, galaxies, and planets we see today. In the first fractions of a second, the universe expanded at an astonishing rate, a period known as cosmic inflation. During this phase, the universe grew exponentially, from smaller than an atom to macroscopic scales. The fundamental forces of nature, gravity, electromagnetism, and the nuclear forces began to differentiate from one another. It was in these early moments that the seeds of the universe's structure were planted. As the universe cooled, it became a hot, dense soup of elementary particles, quarks, electrons, and neutrinos. The temperature was still unimaginably high, but after about a second, the quarks began to combine to form protons and neutrons, the building blocks of atoms. Over the next few minutes, these protons and neutrons fused to form the nuclei of light elements like hydrogen, helium, and traces of lithium in a process called nucleosynthesis. In its early years, Earth was a hostile, molten world bombarded by asteroids and comets. Over time, however, the planet cooled and a thin crust formed. Water, delivered by comets and volcanic activity, began to collect in oceans. In this environment, around 3.8 billion years ago, the first simple life forms, single-celled organisms, emerged. How exactly life began remains one of the great mysteries of science, but what we do know is that once it started, it evolved. For billions of years, life on Earth remained microscopic. But around 600 million years ago, during a period known as the Cambrian explosion, life took a dramatic leap forward. Complex organisms with specialized tissues and organs began to appear in the oceans. Some of these creatures eventually made their way onto land, and over millions of years, evolution gave rise to an astonishing diversity of life forms, including reptiles, birds, mammals, and eventually, early humans. The story of humanity begins relatively recently in the grand scheme of the universe. Around 6 million years ago, in Africa, a group of primates began to walk upright, marking the first step toward the evolution of modern humans. These early ancestors of ours were able to use tools, communicate, and form social groups, but it wasn't until around 200,000 years ago that Homo sapiens, our species, emerged. At first, early humans lived as hunter-gatherers, moving across the land in search of food and shelter. But around 12,000 years ago, something remarkable happened. Humans began to settle in one place and cultivate crops. This agricultural revolution led to the rise of civilizations, the development of technology, and the creation of culture, art, and science. From the pyramids of ancient Egypt to the philosophy of ancient Greece, from the Renaissance to the scientific revolution, humans have continually sought to understand the world around them and their place in it. And over the last few centuries, this quest for knowledge has brought us remarkable discoveries, from the laws of physics to the structure of DNA. We have developed the technology to explore the depths of the oceans and send spacecraft to distant planets. We have even begun to explore the very origins of the universe itself.